CO Kang Jun had searched for 3 years. 3 years of dead ends and false hope and nights when he almost convinced himself to let her go. Then he walked into a charity gala and saw Gabriella Bebe coordinating the event like she had not destroyed his entire world by disappearing. She looked exactly the same. Beautiful, confident, completely unaware that she had once been the center of his universe. He knew he should leave. Walk away. Let her live the life she had built without him, but his feet carried him forward anyway. And when she turned those familiar eyes on him with absolutely no recognition, something inside him broke. "You loved me once," he whispered, because he could not stop the words. Gabrielle stared at him like he was speaking nonsense. "I'm sorry, do we know each other?" No, that was the problem. She did not know him at all. The accident 5 years ago had stolen her memories. 6 months of her life, gone. And Kang Jun had lost everything in that blank space. Their first kiss, their whispered promises, the night he had almost proposed. All of it erased like it had never happened. But he remembered every moment, every laugh, every fight, every time she had looked at him and made him believe he could be better than his family's legacy. Now she was standing in front of him, a stranger wearing the face of the woman he loved, and he had one chance to make her remember. One chance to prove that what they had was real, even if she could not recall a single second of it. One chance to win back the love of his life from the blank spaces in her own mind. The question was, would she let him try, or had he already lost her forever? Welcome back to my channel, besties. If you are enjoying this story so far, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you will want to see where this goes. There is a lot more coming, and you do not want to miss what happens next. Gabriella Bebe knew exactly 3 things about the man blocking her path. 1, he had just arrived at the Imperial Grand Hotel in a car that made the valet stutter. 2, every person in the ballroom had gone quiet the moment he walked in. 3, he was staring at her like she had risen from the dead. She forced her professional smile into place. The gala was in 40 minutes. She did not have time for whatever this was. "Good evening, sir. If you could please proceed to the registration table, they will. You loved me once." Gabrielle's clipboard nearly slipped from her hands. The man stepped closer. His voice dropped so low that only she could hear it, and there was something broken in the way he said the words. Something that made her stomach twist, even though she had never seen him before in her life. "Excuse me," she managed. He searched her face, really looked at her, like he was trying to find something he had lost. Then his expression changed. Confusion replaced hope. "You really don't remember me," he whispered. "I think you have me confused with someone else." "No." The word came out firm. "Certain. Gabriella Bebe, you work here as an event planner. You take your coffee with too much sugar and no milk. You hate wearing heels, but you do it anyway, because you say it makes people take you seriously. You have a scar on your left wrist from when you tried to cook Ethiopian food in a too small kitchen, and—" "Stop." Gabrielle took a step back. Her heart was doing something strange in her chest. "How do you know those things?" "Because you told me." His eyes were dark and sad. 3 years ago, when you were mine." Someone called her name from across the ballroom. Gabrielle used the interruption to slip past him, walking quickly toward the safety of her staff. She could feel him watching her. When she finally risked a glance back, he was gone. But the way he had looked at her stayed. The gala that night was perfect. Gabrielle made sure of it. She coordinated 200 guests, a 7-course dinner, and a live orchestra without a single mistake. She smiled at the right people, fixed the small disasters that no one else noticed, and did not think about the stranger even once. That was a lie. She thought about him every single second. At 11:30, her assistant found her in the kitchen, doing an unnecessary inventory check. "Gabby, go home. You've been here for 14 hours. I just need to make sure the morning shift knows about the broken espresso machine. I'll handle it. Your boyfriend texted me because you're not answering your phone. He's worried." Gabrielle looked down. 7 missed calls from Minseok. She sighed and grabbed her coat. The drive home should have cleared her head. Instead, she kept hearing that voice. "You loved me once." The way he said it, like he was talking about something holy that had been destroyed. She did not know him. She would remember a man like that, wouldn't she? Her apartment was dark when she got in. Minseok had his own key, but he was not there, which was fine. Good, even. She needed to think. Gabrielle poured herself wine she did not drink and stood by the window. Seoul stretched out below her, all lights and noise and life. She had lived here for 6 years, built a career, made a home. She knew who she was. except for those 6 months she could not remember. The accident had happened 5 years ago. Her mother said she had been on a trip outside the city. A car hit her at an intersection. She woke up in the hospital with a head injury and a gap in her memory. The doctors said it was normal. Trauma sometimes did that. They said the memories might come back, or they might not. They never did. Her family told her it was just a hard time in her life. School stress, work pressure, nothing important was lost, so Gabrielle had moved forward. She finished her degree, got her job, met Minsiok. Life was good, so why did that stranger's words feel like the truth? She went to bed but did not sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face. The way hope had died in his expression when he realized she really did not know him. When morning finally came, Gabrielle was exhausted and angry. At herself, mostly. She was letting some random man mess with her head. It was ridiculous. Work would help. Work always helped. She made it through morning briefings and 2 client calls before her manager appeared at her desk. Gabrielle, we have a request for a private event. Top floor suite tonight. That's very short notice. The client is willing to pay triple rate. Her manager slid a paper across the desk. He asked for you specifically. The name on the request form made her hands go cold. Seo Kong Jun. Do you know him? Her manager asked. No, Gabrielle said. Then, because that felt like another lie, we met briefly last night. Well, he clearly trusts your work. Can you handle it? She should say no. Every instinct told her to say no. Yes, I'll handle it. By the time Gabrielle reached the top floor suite that evening, she had convinced herself this was nothing. A misunderstanding. Maybe he really did confuse her with someone else and now he wanted to apologize. That made sense. Richmond did strange things to save face. She knocked on the suite door. Seo Kang Jun opened it himself. No assistant, no staff. Thank you for coming, he said quietly. This is my job, Mr. Seo. Kang Jun. You used to call me Kang Jun. He stepped back to let her in. Sometimes you called me other things when you were annoyed with me. You had very creative insults in Amharic. Gabrielle stayed in the doorway. Why did you book this event? Because I need to talk to you. You would not have come otherwise. You're right, I wouldn't have. 5 minutes, he said. Just give me 5 minutes to explain. If you still want to leave after that, I'll never bother you again. There was something desperate in his voice that made her hesitate. This man, who apparently made valet drivers nervous in ballrooms go silent, was asking her for 5 minutes like it was the most important thing in the world. Fine, 5 minutes. Kong Jun gestured to the sitting area. Gabrielle sat on the edge of the chair, ready to run. He sat across from her and pulled out his phone. 3 years ago, you were finishing your graduate program at Yonsei University. You worked part-time at a bookstore in Hongdae. He turned his phone screen toward her. This is us. The photograph showed a younger version of the man in front of her, smiling in a way that made him look completely different. Softer, happy. And next to him, laughing at something off camera, was Gabrielle. She was wearing a yellow dress she did not recognize. Her hair was longer, but it was definitely her. That could be edited, she said, but her voice shook. He swiped to another photo. The 2 of them at a restaurant. Another of Gabrielle sleeping on a couch, a book open on her chest. Another of them in winter coats, snow falling around them. Stop, Gabrielle whispered. You don't remember any of it? I was in an accident 5 years ago. I lost some memories from before that. Something changed in Kang Jun's face. Understanding, maybe. Or pain. December 5 years ago. He closed his eyes. That's when you disappeared, right after. He stopped himself. Did you know about me before last night? No. My family. They said I didn't lose anything important. Just a stressful time. Not important, he repeated, and there was an edge to his voice now. We were planning to get engaged, Gabrielle. I was going to propose on New Year's Eve. You knew it was coming. We had picked out the ring together. The room tilted slightly. Gabrielle gripped the armrest. That's not possible. I would remember something like that. Someone like you. Would you? Kang Jun leaned forward. You don't remember me at all? Nothing? Not even a feeling? She wanted to say no, clean and simple. But that would be a lie, and they both knew it. Sometimes I have dreams, she admitted slowly. Places I don't recognize. A bridge at night. Someone's hand in mine. I always thought they were just dreams. The bridge over the Han River. We went there every Friday night. You said the city looked like stars had fallen to earth. His voice was soft now. Careful. What else do you remember? Nothing. Just flashes. They don't make sense. Kang Jun stood and walked to the window. Soul stretched out beyond the glass, exactly like in her dreams. Your family kept this from you, he said. Why? I don't know. They said they were protecting me. From me. It was not a question. He turned back to face her. Do you know what I do, Gabrielle? Besides the hotels and the real estate investments. Should I? Most people in Seoul know, or they suspect. He crossed his arms. I run things. The kind of things that don't get put on business cards. Your family found out right before the accident. Your mother called me and told me to stay away from you. Gabrielle stood up. You're trying to tell me you're what, some kind of criminal? I'm trying to tell you the truth. I wanted out of that life. Because of you. But your family did not believe me. And then you disappeared, and when I finally found you in the hospital, you looked at me like a stranger. Your mother said you did not remember me, and it was better that way. So you just left. If we were really engaged, you just walked away? I left because I thought that was what you wanted. Kang Jun's voice rose slightly. The doctors said forcing memories could do more damage. Your mother threatened to get a restraining order if I came near you again. What was I supposed to do? Not give up. Gabrielle shot back, surprising herself. They stared at each other. The anger in the room felt like something alive. You're right, Kang Jun said finally. I should have fought harder. I regret that every day. But I'm not giving up now, not when I have a second chance. A second chance at what? I'm not the person in those photos. I don't know you. Then let me show you who you were, who we were. He moved closer. Not touching, but close enough that she could see the hope in his eyes again. Give me 2 weeks. Let me take you to the places we went. Tell you our stories. If nothing comes back, if you feel nothing, I'll disappear for good. This was insane. Gabrielle had a life, a boyfriend, a career. She could not just upend everything because a stranger had old photographs. But what if he was not a stranger? What if every dream she had ever dismissed, every moment of déjà vu, every inexplicable feeling, what if all of it was real? 1 week, she heard herself say, and I'm not promising anything. Kang Jun's smile was small but genuine. 1 week. That's all I'm asking. Gabrielle left the suite feeling like she had just jumped off a cliff. She called Min Seok on the way down. Hey, I'm sorry about last night. The gala ran late, and it's okay. I know how you get with work. Min Seok's voice was warm, familiar, safe. Are you free for dinner? I'm near your office. Actually, something came up. Can we talk tonight? There was a pause. Is everything okay? I'm not sure yet, Gabrielle said honestly. They agreed to meet at her apartment at 8. That gave her 3 hours to figure out how to explain this. She could not think in the office, so she went to the one place that always helped her clear her head. The bookstore in Hongdae. She had been coming here for years. It was quiet and smelled like old paper, and the owner never bothered her. Gabrielle found her usual spot in the back corner and pulled out a random book without looking at the title. You're sitting in the same chair. Gabrielle nearly dropped the book. Kang Jun stood at the end of the aisle, hands in his pockets. Are you following me? No. I mean, not intentionally. I come here sometimes. He looked almost embarrassed. This is where we met. I thought maybe if I kept coming, I'd stop missing you. It didn't work. Despite everything, Gabrielle felt something in her chest soften. That's pathetic. I know. What book was I reading when we met? Kang Jun tilted his head, remembering. You weren't reading. You were hiding from a guy who would not take no for an answer. I pretended to be your boyfriend so he would leave you alone. You called me your hero. I said you could repay me with coffee. You said I had to buy you dinner first. And did you? That same night. We stayed at the restaurant until they kicked us out at 2 in the morning. He smiled at the memory. You talked about wanting to change how people saw African professionals in Korea. I talked about wanting to build something legitimate. We were both trying to be better than where we came from. Gabrielle looked down at the book in her hands. It was a collection of poetry. She opened to a random page and froze. There in the margin was handwriting she recognized as her own. A single sentence. He makes me believe in second chances. I wrote this, she whispered. Kang Jun moved closer and looked at the page. Something painful crossed his face. You used to write in library books. I told you it was vandalism. You said it was leaving gifts for future readers. Gabrielle snapped the book shut. Her hands were shaking. I need to go. Wait, Gabrielle? No. This is too much. I can't. She pushed past him, nearly running for the exit. Outside, the evening air was cold and sharp. Gabrielle walked without direction, just trying to breathe. Nothing made sense. The photos could be faked, but how would he know about the bookstore? About her habit of writing in margins? Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I'm sorry for pushing. Take your time. But when you're ready, I'm here, always have been. It had to be Kang Jun, which meant he had her number. which meant he had always had her number and never used it, because he thought she wanted him gone. Gabrielle saved the contact before he could overthink it. Then she went home to tell her boyfriend that she might have been engaged to someone else. Minseok arrived exactly at 8, carrying takeout from her favorite Thai place. He kissed her cheek and started setting out containers like this was a normal evening. You sounded stressed on the phone. Bad day? Something happened at the gala last night. Gabrielle sat down heavily. A man approached me. He says he knows me. Okay. Minseok opened a container of pad thai. Like a client? Like someone I dated. Before the accident. The fork in Minseok's hand stopped moving. What? He had pictures of us together. He says we were serious. Gabrielle, that's... Minseok set the food down. That's clearly a scam. Someone trying to manipulate you. The photos were real. And he knew things about me. Things I never told anyone here. Then he did research. Wealthy men with too much time do this kind of thing. Minseok reached for her hand. You can't actually believe him. I don't know what to believe. But what if he's telling the truth? What if I had a whole relationship I don't remember? Then it doesn't matter. Minseok squeezed her fingers. You don't remember him. You're with me now. Whatever happened before the accident, it's gone. There was something too firm in the way he said it. Gabrielle pulled her hand back. Why didn't you ever ask about my accident? In 2 years together, you never once asked what I lost. Because I didn't want to upset you, or because you didn't want me to remember. The words came out before she could stop them. Minseok's face went very still. What are you saying? I'm saying it's strange, that's all. Gabrielle stood up. I think I need some space tonight. Gabrielle, come on. Don't let some con artist ruin what we have. I'm just asking for one night to think. Minseok stared at her for a long moment. Then he grabbed his coat. Fine. But you're making a mistake trusting him. After he left, Gabrielle sat in the silence and tried to figure out what she actually felt. Confusion, yes. Anger at her family for possibly lying to her. Fear that her whole life might be built on blank spaces. But underneath all of that was something else. Curiosity. She pulled out her phone and texted the number from earlier. Tomorrow. Show me where we met. The real story, not the romantic version. The reply came in seconds. I'll pick you up at 10. And Gabrielle, there is no difference. The real story is the romantic version. Despite everything, she smiled. The next morning, Gabrielle changed clothes 4 times before admitting to herself that she cared what she looked like. She finally settled on jeans and a sweater, casual enough to pretend this was not a big deal. Kongjun arrived exactly at 10 in a car that was nice but not showy. He got out to open her door, which made her feel strange. You don't have to do that, she said. I know. But you used to complain that chivalry was dead, so I'm keeping it alive single-handedly. I said that, frequently. Usually when I forgot to pull out your chair. He smiled. I got better at remembering. They drove to Hongdae in comfortable silence. Well, comfortable for him. Gabrielle was wound tight with nerves. The bookstore looked different in morning light. Less magical, more ordinary. We came here on a Wednesday, Kongjun said as they walked in. You had just finished a terrible presentation for your international marketing class. You were convinced you failed. Did I? You got the highest grade. You always thought you did worse than you did. He led her to the back corner. The guy bothering you was sitting right there. You were there. He pointed to the chair she always sat in. I was looking for a book on urban development. Terrible timing, great luck. And you just walked up and pretended to know me? You gave me a look. Like you were begging for help. So I said, there you are, sweetheart. I've been looking everywhere. Kongjun laughed softly. The guy left immediately. You looked so relieved. Then what? Then you asked if I was always that smooth. I said only on Wednesdays. You laughed, and I was done for. They walked through Hongdae after that, Kongjun pointing out restaurants and cafes and street corners that apparently meant something. A Pojang matcha where they had soju after her final exams. A park bench where she had cried over a job rejection. The Norebang where he first heard her sing and realized she was tone deaf. I am not tone deaf, Gabrielle protested. You absolutely are. You have many wonderful qualities, but carrying a tune is not one of them. Name one. Wonderful quality, I mean. Kongjun stopped walking. They were on a bridge now, the river below them reflecting afternoon sun. You see people, he said quietly. Really see them. Not what they show the world, but who they actually are. You saw me when I was trying so hard to be someone different. You didn't care about the money or the reputation. You just wanted to know if I was kind. Was I right? Are you kind? I'm trying to be. For you, I tried to be. Something in Gabrielle's chest has cracked open. She looked away, blinking hard. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Anything. Why didn't you move on? 3 years is a long time to wait for someone who doesn't remember you." Kong Jun leaned against the bridge railing. "I tried. I dated other people. I worked myself half to death. I left the country for 6 months. Nothing worked. Because everywhere I went, I kept thinking I saw you, and every time it wasn't you, it hurt all over again. That's not healthy. I know, my therapist says the same thing." He smiled slightly. "But then last night at the gala, it actually was you. And even though you looked at me like a stranger, I felt alive for the first time in 3 years. So no, I couldn't move on. I didn't want to." Gabrielle did not know what to say to that. The intensity of it was overwhelming. Her phone rang, breaking the moment. Min Seok's name flashed on the screen. "I should take this," she said. "I'll wait over there." Kang Jun walked a few steps away, giving her privacy. "Hey," Gabrielle answered. "Where are you?" Min Seok's voice was tight. "I stopped by your office. They said you took a personal day. I'm out. Following up on something. With him? You're with him, aren't you?" "Min Seok, I said I needed space to think." "So you're spending that space with a man who's clearly obsessed with you? Do you know how dangerous that is?" "He's not dangerous. You've known him for 2 days, Gabrielle. Or actually, you don't know him at all because you can't remember. He could be anyone." There was truth in that. Enough that Gabrielle felt doubt creep back in. "I'm being careful," she said. "Are you?" "Because from where I'm standing, you're throwing away a real relationship for a fantasy. That's not fair, isn't it? I've been here for 2 years. I know you. The real you, not whoever you were before. And I'm asking you to trust me when I say this guy is bad news." Gabrielle watched Kang Jun standing by the water, hands in his pockets, carefully not listening. He looked lonely, like someone who had been waiting a very long time. "I have to go," she said quietly. "We'll talk later." She hung up before Min Seok could argue. Kang Jun turned when she approached. "Everything okay? Honestly, I have no idea." She sighed. "My boyfriend thinks you're dangerous. My family apparently thought the same thing 3 years ago. So maybe you should tell me the truth about what you actually do." Kang Jun nodded slowly. "Fair enough. Let's go somewhere we can talk." They ended up at a coffee shop that was too quiet for the conversation they were about to have. Kang Jun ordered an Americano. Gabrielle ordered tea she would not drink. "My grandfather started the organization," Kang Jun said once they were seated in a back corner. "Import, export. Some of it legal, most of it not. By the time I was old enough to understand what the family business actually was, I was already part of it. And you just accepted that. I was 18. My father had just died. My grandfather said this was my legacy, my responsibility, so yes, I accepted it." He stirred his coffee without drinking it. "I told myself we weren't hurting anyone. We moved luxury goods, helped people get what they wanted. I didn't ask too many questions. When did that change? When I met you." Kang Jun finally looked up. "You asked me what I did on our 3rd date. I gave you the rehearsed answer about import consultancy. You said that was the most boring description you had ever heard. And, if I was going to lie, at least make it interesting." Despite the serious conversation, Gabrielle almost smiled. "I said that? You did. So I told you the truth. I expected you to leave. Instead, you asked if I wanted to keep doing it. What did you say?" I said no. That I had been looking for a way out but didn't know how. My grandfather was still alive then. Still in charge. You can't just quit that kind of family. Kang Jun's voice went quiet. "You told me that everyone has a choice. It might be a hard choice, but it's still there. You said if I wanted to be better, I had to decide to be better and deal with the consequences." That sounds preachy. It was. I loved it. He smiled slightly. "You made me believe I could actually get out. So I started building legitimate businesses. Real estate, hotels, investments. Things that would sustain me when I finally cut ties with my grandfather's organization. It was working. Slowly, but it was working. Then I disappeared. Then you disappeared. And my grandfather died 6 months later. Suddenly I was in charge of everything. And the people who depended on that organization were looking to me. I couldn't just shut it down without causing problems for a lot of families." Gabrielle processed this. "So you're still running it. I'm dismantling it. Piece by piece, moving people into legitimate work, closing down operations that can't be made legal. But it takes time. And until it's done, yes, I'm still connected to that world." He met her eyes. "I understand if that's too much. If you want to walk away right now, I won't blame you. She should walk away." This was exactly the kind of complications she did not need in her carefully organized life. But something he said earlier kept circling in her mind. You were doing all of this before, 3 years ago. Getting out, building something legitimate, because of me, because of us, because I wanted a life I didn't have to hide from you. Then why did my family think you were so dangerous? Kang Jun's jaw tightened. Your mother hired someone to investigate me. They found out about my grandfather's business. She saw the connections, the rumors, and she decided I was going to destroy your life. She wasn't completely wrong. But she didn't give you a chance to explain. Would you? If your daughter was dating someone with ties to organized crime? He shook his head. I was angry at the time, but I understand now. She was protecting you. From what? You just said you were getting out. I was trying to get out. That doesn't mean I was safe to be around. People who leave that life, they make enemies. Your mother was afraid I would drag you into danger. Kang Jun's expression went dark. The accident that took your memory, I always wondered if it was really an accident. Gabrielle went cold. What are you saying? I'm saying I had rivals who knew you were important to me. I'm saying the timing was convenient. And I'm saying I've never been able to prove anything either way. He reached across the table like he wanted to take her hand, then stopped himself. That's why I let you go. Because even if you remembered me, even if you wanted me back, maybe your mother was right. Maybe you were safer without me. But you're here now. Because I'm selfish. Because when I saw you at that gala, every good reason I had for staying away disappeared. His voice roughened. I know I should leave you alone. I know that would be the right thing to do. But I can't, not again. They sat in silence. Around them, the coffee shop filled with afternoon customers. People living normal lives with normal problems. I need time, Gabrielle said finally. This is all too much too fast. I know. Take whatever time you need, and I need to talk to my family. Find out why they really kept this from me. That's fair. Kang Jun stood. Can I drive you home? I'll take the subway. I need to think. He nodded, accepting the dismissal. But as Gabrielle gathered her things, he said her name softly. Yeah? You asked earlier if I was kind. I don't know if I am, but I'm trying to be honest with you. Even when the truth makes me look bad, that has to count for something. It did count for something. That was the problem. Gabrielle spent the subway ride home staring at her reflection in the dark window. The woman looking back at her seemed like a stranger. How much of her current life was real? How much was just filling in blanks with whatever was easiest? Her phone buzzed with a message from her mother. Minseok called me. He's worried about you. What's going on? Of course he had called. Gabrielle felt irritation flare. She typed back quickly. I'm fine. But I need to ask you something. Did I have a boyfriend before my accident? Someone serious? The response took a long time to come. Where is this coming from? That was not a denial. Just answer the question, Mom. Another long pause. Then, can we video call? This isn't a text conversation. Gabrielle got off at her stop and walked to a nearby park before calling. Her mother's face appeared on screen, and she looked tired. Who have you been talking to? Her mother asked in Amharic. Someone who says he knew me. Seo Kang Jun. Do you remember him? Her mother's expression closed off. I told him to stay away from you. So it's true. We were together. You were infatuated with him. That's different from being together. Mom, he has pictures of us. A year's worth of pictures. That's not infatuation. Her mother sighed deeply. Gabrielle, you have to understand. When we found out what he was, what his family did, we were terrified. That world, it's not safe. We didn't raise you to get involved with criminals. He was leaving that world. For me. That's what he told you. Men like that, they say what they need to say. Or maybe you didn't give him a chance. Gabrielle felt her voice rising. You let me wake up from that accident with holes in my memory, and you didn't even try to help me fill them in. You just decided what parts of my life were worth keeping. We were protecting you. You were controlling me. There's a difference. Her mother flinched. After the accident, you were so fragile. The doctors said stress could cause more damage. We thought if you didn't remember him, if you could start fresh, you'd be happier. And you were. You built a good life, a life based on lies, based on safety, based on you being alive and healthy and far away from people who could hurt you. Her mother's eyes were wet now. Do you know what it was like, getting that call from the hospital? Seeing you in that bed, not knowing if you'd wake up, and then finding out that the man you were so desperate to marry had connections to exactly the kind of people who could have caused that accident? Gabrielle stopped. What do you mean, desperate to marry? Her mother looked away. You were talking about getting engaged. You called me 2 weeks before the accident. So excited. You said he was the one, that you'd never been so sure of anything. I told you to slow down. To think about what you were getting into. We fought. You said I didn't trust your judgment. What else? Gabrielle pressed. What else did I say? You said you loved him enough to take the risk. That some things were worth fighting for. Her mother's voice broke. And then a week later, you were in the hospital, and he showed up like he had any right to be there. I couldn't let him near you. I couldn't risk losing you again. Gabrielle ended the call feeling hollowed out. She sat on the park bench as evening fell around her, trying to reconcile everything she had learned. The woman her mother described, the one who was willing to risk everything for love, she did not recognize that person. Current Gabrielle was careful, practical. She planned everything, and avoided unnecessary risks. But maybe that was because someone had decided who she should be. Her phone rang. Minseok this time. She considered not answering, then decided to get it over with. Hey, finally, I've been calling for hours. He sounded frustrated. Where are you? Sitting in a park having an identity crisis. You? Gabrielle, this isn't funny. I'm not trying to be funny. I just found out my entire family has been lying to me for 5 years. I'm allowed to be a little off. Minseok's tone softened. I'm sorry. You're right. Can I come get you? We should talk about this in person. Not tonight. I need space, Minseok. Real space. You keep saying that, but what you're actually doing is spending time with a criminal who's manipulating you. He's not manipulating me. He's telling me the truth, which is more than I can say for everyone else in my life. There was a sharp silence. Then Minseok said quietly, What does that mean? It means I need to figure some things out. On my own. And where do I fit in while you're figuring things out? It was a fair question. Gabrielle wished she had a good answer. I don't know yet, she admitted. But I can't think about us while I'm trying to figure out who I am. You know who you are. You're the woman I've loved for 2 years. You're smart and ambitious, and you make me laugh. That doesn't change because some guy shows up with old photos. But what if I was someone different before? What if the person you love is just the version of me that survived the accident? Then that's the version I want, Minseok said firmly. The past doesn't matter, Gabrielle. We matter. Right now, today. Don't throw that away. After they hung up, Gabrielle sat in the growing darkness and tried to figure out what she actually wanted. Minseok represented safety, a known quantity. With him, she could go back to her normal life and pretend the last 2 days had never happened. But Kang Jun represented something else. Truth, maybe. Or for answers. Or just the uncomfortable possibility that she had been living half a life without realizing it. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This is going to sound crazy, but do you like jazz? She recognized Kang Jun's number even though it was not saved yet. Is this your way of asking me on a date? His response came quickly. This is my way of saying, there's a jazz club in Itaewon we used to go to every Saturday. They're having a special performance tonight. Thought you might want to go. No pressure. Gabrielle looked at the message for a long time. She should go home. She should process everything she had learned today. She should absolutely not go to a jazz club with a man who was either the love of her life or a very convincing liar. What time? 9. I'll text you the address. Meet me there? She agreed before she could talk herself out of it. The jazz club was down a narrow street Gabrielle had walked past 100 times without noticing. The sign was small, the door unmarked. She would have missed it if Kang Jun had not been standing outside. He had changed into a dark shirt that made him look older, more serious. You came, he said, and he sounded genuinely surprised. I'm full of bad decisions today, might as well commit. He smiled at that. Come on, you're going to love this. The club was exactly the kind of place Gabrielle would have chosen herself. Low lighting, intimate tables, a small stage where a quartet was setting up. Kang Jun led her to a table in the back corner. We always sat here, he said. You liked being able to see the whole room. You said it felt like being in on a secret. Did I come here a lot? Before? Every Saturday for almost a year. You knew all the musicians by name. Sometimes they'd let you request songs. A waitress approached their table and did a double take when she saw Gabrielle. Oh my God, Gabby, is that you? Gabrielle stared at her blankly. The waitress's smile faltered. It's me, Soo Jin. We used to talk every week when you came in. She glanced at Kang Jun. You two back together? It's complicated, Kang Jun said gently. She doesn't remember, Soo Jin said slowly, understanding dawning. The accident. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. We all wondered what happened to you. After Soo Jin left with their drink orders, Gabrielle felt like she might cry. Everyone knew me. I had a whole life here and I don't remember any of it. Hey, Kang Jun's voice was soft. It's okay. You don't have to remember. We're making new memories right now. But what if I never remember? What if this, she gestured between them, is all built on stories I have to take your word for? Then we build something new. Something that's ours, not just mine or the old yours, but us right now. The music started before she could respond, the opening notes of a song that felt familiar in a way she could not explain. Gabrielle closed her eyes and let it wash over her. When she opened them again, Kang Jun was watching her with an expression that made her chest hurt. What? She asked. You're crying. She touched her face. He was right. I don't know why. This was your favorite song. You said it sounded like what hope felt like. He handed her a napkin. The band learned it because you requested it so many times. Gabrielle laughed wetly. That's embarrassing. That's you. Enthusiastic about things you loved. No shame, no holding back. I'm not like that now. Maybe you could be again. They stayed through the whole performance. Su Jin brought them drinks they had apparently always ordered. Other staff members stopped by to say hello. All of them delighted to see her. All of them confused when she did not remember them. By the time they left, Gabrielle felt emotionally exhausted. I'm sorry, Kang Jun said as they stood outside the club. I thought this would help. I didn't mean to overwhelm you. No, I'm glad we came. It's just strange, being a stranger to people who knew me. You're not a stranger to me. But I am. The person you knew, she's gone. I'm what's left. Kang Jun stepped closer. Not touching, but close enough that she could feel the warmth of him. You want to know what I think? I think you're exactly who you always were. Maybe you don't remember everything, but the important parts, the things that make you you, those are still there. I see them every time you talk, every time you smile, every time you get that stubborn look when you're about to argue with me. I don't have a stubborn look. You're doing it right now. Despite everything, Gabrielle laughed. And in that moment, standing on a quiet Seoul street, with music drifting from the club behind them, she felt something shift. Not memory exactly, more like recognition. Like maybe her soul remembered him even if her mind did not. I know you are invested in this story now. Drop a comment and let me know what you think Gabrielle should do. Should she trust Kang Jun, or is Minseok right to be worried? I want to hear your thoughts. Can I ask you something? She said quietly. Always. If I never remember, if 3 years from now I still have no memory of what we were, would you still want this? Would I be enough? Kang Jun's answer came without hesitation. You've always been enough. With memories or without them, that's not what this is about. Then what is it about? It's about the fact that I spent 3 years trying to forget you and couldn't. It's about seeing you again and realizing that some things don't fade just because time passes. It's about wanting a second chance at something I thought I lost forever. He reached up slowly, giving her time to pull away, and brushed a strand of hair from her face. But if you tell me right now that you feel nothing, that this is just me living in the past, I'll walk away. I'll let you have the life you built, I promise. Gabrielle should tell him exactly that. It would be easier, cleaner, but it would also be a lie. I don't feel nothing, she whispered. No, I feel confused and overwhelmed and scared, but I also feel something when I'm with you, like I'm remembering how to be someone I forgot I could be. Kang Jun's smile was slow and genuine, and it made him look completely different. Younger, less burdened. That's enough for me, more than enough. He called her a cab even though she protested she could take the subway. He waited with her until it arrived, hands in his pockets like he did not trust himself to touch her again. Get home safe, he said as she got in. Text on me when you're there? You're very demanding for someone who's supposed to be wooing me. I'm worried for someone who cares about you. There's a difference. The cab pulled away before she could respond. Gabrielle watched him get smaller in the rear window until he disappeared. When she got home, there were flowers outside her door, expensive ones in a crystal vase. The card read, I'm sorry for pushing. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. M. Minseok. Being perfect and patient and everything a boyfriend should be. Gabrielle brought the flowers inside and immediately felt guilty. She was emotionally cheating, wasn't she? Spending time with Kang Jun, feeling things for him, while Minseok waited for her to come to her senses. She needed to end it with Minseok. It was not fair to anyone to keep pretending. But when she picked up her phone to call him, she hesitated. What would she even say? I'm leaving you for a man I don't remember because my family lied to me? It sounded insane. Her phone buzzed with a text from Kang Jun. Home safe? Yes. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for giving me a chance. Sleep well, Gabrielle. She stared at the message, then at the flowers from Minseok, then at her reflection in the dark window. Who was she really? The careful planner who chose safety? or the woman who apparently fell in love with a dangerous man and did not care about the consequences. Maybe she was both. Maybe the accident had not erased who she was, just added layers on top. Gabrielle fell asleep on the couch, too tired to make it to bed, and dreamed of snow. In the dream, she was standing on a bridge. The Han River stretched out below, lights reflecting on dark water. Someone was holding her hand. "Are you sure?" the voice asked. His voice, Kang Jun's voice. "I've never been more sure of anything." "Dream," Gabrielle said. "Your family won't approve. I don't care. I love you. That's all that matters." He pulled her close, and even in sleep, Gabrielle felt safe, certain, like she had finally found where she belonged. Then the dream shifted. She was in a car, rain on the windshield. Someone was calling her phone. The name on the screen was Kang Jun. She reached for it. The other car came out of nowhere. Impact, pain, darkness. Gabrielle woke up gasping, her heart racing. The dream had felt so real. More than a dream, a memory trying to surface. It was 3 a.m. She grabbed her laptop and pulled up everything she could find about her accident. The police report was sparse. Single vehicle collision on a rural road outside Seoul. Rainy conditions. The driver of the other car had fled the scene. No witnesses. The case was never solved. She read it 3 times, looking for something she had missed before. The date of the accident was December 28th, right after Christmas. Gabrielle pulled up her old calendar, the one her family had given back to her after the hospital. Most of it was blank for those missing months, but there was one entry for December 31st, New Year's Eve, the night Kang Jun said he was going to propose. She had been on that road for a reason, going somewhere important enough to drive in bad weather. Gabrielle grabbed her phone and texted Kang Jun without thinking about the time. "Where was I going?" "The day of the accident. Do you know?" The response came immediately. "He was awake too. You were coming to see me. I was at my family's house outside the city. We had a fight on the phone earlier that day about your mother's ultimatum. You said you were coming to tell me your decision in person. What was the decision?" "I never found out. You didn't make it." Gabrielle stared at the message. She had been driving to him. To choose him, probably, based on the letter her mother mentioned. And someone had hit her car and driven away. "Do you really think it wasn't an accident?" His reply took longer this time. "I think I had enemies who knew you were my weakness. I think the timing was too convenient, but I could never prove anything. The police investigated, but with no witnesses and no evidence, the case went cold. If it wasn't an accident, they were trying to kill me, or scare you away from me," which worked, in a way. Gabrielle stood up and paced her apartment. If Kang Jun was right, if someone had deliberately hurt her to separate them, then her family's fears about his dangerous life had been justified. But they had also played right into whoever's hands by keeping them apart. Another text came through. "Are you okay? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have told you that so late. I'm okay. Just processing. Can we meet tomorrow?" "Anytime. Where?" "The police station. I want to see the accident file." The next morning, Gabrielle called in sick to work for the first time in 2 years. Her manager sounded so shocked that Gabrielle almost laughed. She met Kang Jun outside the police station at 9. He looked like he had not slept either. "You didn't have to come," she said. "Yes, I did. If you're diving into this, I'm going with you." The detective who handled her case was still at the same station. Detective Park, an older man who remembered the accident immediately when Gabrielle explained who she was. "I wondered if you'd ever come asking," he said, pulling out a file that was thinner than it should be. "That case bothered me. Too many things didn't add up." "Like what?" Gabrielle asked. "Like the fact that you swerved before the other car hit you. Like there were tire marks suggesting you were trying to avoid something. Like the other driver didn't just leave the scene. They disappeared completely. No paint transfer, no debris, nothing to identify the vehicle. You think it was intentional." Detective Park glanced at Kang Jun. "I think you were involved with people who made enemies. I think someone might have wanted to send a message, but without evidence, it's just a theory." "Can you reopen the case?" Kang Jun asked. "On what grounds? Nothing new has come to light. What if I told you I could provide names, people who might have had motive?" Detective Park leaned back in his chair. "Mr. Seo, are you confessing to something?" "I'm offering to cooperate with an investigation into an attempted murder, if you're willing to pursue it." The two men stared at each other. Gabrielle felt the weight of everything unspoken between them. "I'll make some calls," Detective Park said finally. "See if we can take another look, but I can't promise anything." Outside the station, Gabrielle turned to Kang Jun. "You just painted a target on your back. If you give them names, if you cooperate, people in your world will see that as betrayal. I know. Then why do it? Because you deserve answers. Because if someone hurt you because of me, I need to know who. And because I'm tired of living in that world. This is my chance to finally walk away clean. Gabrielle felt something crack open in her chest. This man, who barely knew the current version of her, was willing to risk everything to give her closure. You're either very noble or very stupid, she said. Probably both. He smiled slightly. Come on, I want to show you one more place. They took his car this time. Kang Jun drove them out of the city, into the hills where houses got bigger and farther apart. He pulled up to a gate that opened with a code. The house beyond was beautiful. Modern and minimalist, all windows and clean lines. Is this yours? Gabrielle asked. It was going to be ours. I bought it a month before the accident. You helped design it. He parked and turned off the engine. I haven't been able to sell it. Couldn't bring myself to let it go. They walked through rooms that were furnished but felt unlived in. Everything was expensive and tasteful and completely impersonal except for one room. The study had bookshelves built into every wall, and the books were marked with notes in margins, passages underlined, little comments written in handwriting Gabrielle recognized as her own. You moved my books here? She whispered. After the accident, I went to your apartment and packed up everything your family didn't take. Your books, your notes, your ridiculous collection of coffee mugs with bad puns. I couldn't stand the thought of it all disappearing. Kang Jun stood in the doorway watching her. I know it's probably creepy, keeping all of this. It's not creepy, it's sad. She pulled a book from the shelf at random. Poetry again. And there, in her handwriting, read this to him. He pretends he doesn't like poetry, but he always listens. Did I? Gabrielle asked. Read poetry to you? All the time. Usually when I was trying to work. You said I needed more beauty in my life. Was I annoying? You were perfect. Gabrielle turned to find him closer than she expected. He was looking at her the way he had on that first night at the gala, like she was something precious that had been lost and found again. Kang Jun, she started, but she did not know how to finish. I know you're with someone. I know you don't remember me. I know I'm asking too much. He stopped, seemed to gather himself. But I need you to know something. Even if you walk away tomorrow, even if you choose the life you have now, these 3 years without you have been the longest of my life. And getting to spend this week with you, showing you who we were, it's been worth all of it. Stop, Gabrielle said softly. You're going to make me cry again. Sorry, I'm not good at holding back with you. I never have been. She stepped closer, close enough to see the exhaustion in his face, the hope he was trying to hide. Can I try something? She asked. Anything. Gabrielle stood on her toes and kissed him. It was brief and chaste and nothing like the romantic moment it should have been. But the second their lips touched, something in her brain sparked. A flash of memory. This same kiss in a different place. His hands in her hair. Her laughing against his mouth. The feeling of absolute certainty that this was right. She pulled back, breathing hard. Did you remember something? Kang Jun asked quietly. I don't know, maybe. It felt familiar. She pressed her fingers to her lips. Like my body remembered, even if my mind doesn't. Gabrielle, her phone rang, shattering the moment. Min-seok's name flashed on the screen. Reality came crashing back. She had just kissed another man, while she still had a boyfriend. I need to take this, she said, stepping away. Where are you? Min-seok asked when she answered. He sounded strained. I went to your apartment. You're not there. I'm out. Following up on the accident. With him. You're with him again. It was not a question. Gabrielle did not deny it. Min-seok, we need to talk. In person. Finally. Something we agree on. His voice was cold. Come to my office, now. There's something you need to see. He hung up before she could respond. Gabrielle turned back to Kang Jun. I have to go. I know. It's okay. No, it's not. None of this is okay. I'm stringing along my boyfriend while chasing ghosts with you. I'm a terrible person. You're trying to find the truth. That doesn't make you terrible. Doesn't make me good either. She grabbed her bag. Can you drive me back to the city? They rode in silence. When Kang Jun dropped her at Min-seok's office building, he caught her hand before she could get out. Whatever he shows you, whatever he says, remember that I'm telling you the truth. I have no reason to lie. I'm not trying to build a relationship with you. I'm trying to rebuild one that already existed. How do I know the difference? You don't. You have to choose to trust me. He squeezed her hand once and let go. Good luck. Min-seok's office was on the 15th floor. His assistant waved Gabrielle through with a sympathetic look that made her nervous. Min Seok was standing by the window when she entered. He did not turn around. "Close the door," he said. Gabrielle did. The silence stretched. "I hired an investigator," Min Seok said finally, "to look into Seo Kang-jun. I wanted to prove to you that he was dangerous, that you needed to stay away from him. Min Seok, you had no right—" "Let me finish." He turned now, and his expression was harder than she had ever seen it. "The investigator found something interesting. Want to know what it was?" Gabrielle's stomach dropped. "What?" "5 years ago I knew you. Not well, but we met at a university networking event. You were there with Kang-jun." Min Seok pulled out his phone and showed her a photo. "That's us, all 3 of us." The picture showed a younger Gabrielle standing between 2 men. Kang-jun had his arm around her, and on her other side, smiling at the camera, was Min Seok. "I don't understand," Gabrielle whispered. "I met you before your accident. I knew about Kang-jun. And when I ran into you again 2 years ago at that conference, when you didn't remember me, I saw an opportunity." Min Seok's voice was flat, emotionless. "I'm in love with you, Gabrielle. I have been since the first time we met. But you only had eyes for him. So when you lost your memory, when you looked at me like I was a stranger, I thought maybe I finally had a chance." The room spun. Gabrielle sat down hard in the nearest chair. "You've been lying to me for 2 years. I've been loving you for 2 years. There's a difference." "No." Gabrielle stood back up. "There's really not. You let me build a relationship with you based on lies. You knew about my past and you deliberately kept it from me. To protect you. Kang-jun is dangerous, Gabrielle. His world is dangerous. I gave you a better life. You took away my choice." Her voice was shaking now, anger and betrayal making her hands tremble. "You let me think I was choosing you when really you just erased the competition." "I love you," Min Seok said desperately. "Doesn't that matter? I've been good to you. I've supported you. I'm safe and stable, and I would never put you at risk the way he would. You manipulated me. For 2 years. How is that love? How is what he's doing any different? He's using old photos and romantic stories to manipulate you into feeling something that's not real anymore. At least he's honest about it. At least he told me the truth." Min Seok's expression hardened. "Fine. You want the whole truth? Your accident wasn't random. It was a message from one of Kang-jun's rivals. They ran you off the road to prove they could get to him through you. And if you go back to him, it will happen again. Next time they might not just want to scare you." Gabrielle felt cold all over. "How do you know that?" "Because I've spent 2 years making sure you stayed safe. Making sure those people had no reason to come after you again. If you go back to Kang-jun, if you make yourself a target again, I can't protect you. I never asked you to protect me. I never asked for any of this." She headed for the door. Min Seok grabbed her arm. "Don't do this. Don't throw away what we have for a fantasy." Gabrielle pulled free. "What we have is a lie. It always was. We're done, Min Seok." She left before he could respond, taking the stairs because she could not stand the thought of waiting for an elevator. 15 flights later, she burst out onto the street and immediately called Kang-jun. "Can you pick me up?" she asked when he answered. "I need to get out of here." "On my way. Are you okay?" "No, but I will be. Just hurry." Kang-jun arrived in 12 minutes. Gabrielle got in the car and did not say anything. She just pressed her hands over her face and tried to breathe. "Where do you want to go?" he asked quietly. "Anywhere but here." He drove without asking questions. They ended up at the Han River, parked near the bridge from her dreams. Gabrielle got out and walked to the railing. The water below reflected the afternoon sun in pieces. "He knew me before," she said when Kang-jun joined her. "Min Seok. He met us together at some event 5 years ago. He's been lying to me this entire time." Kang-jun's jaw tightened. "Did he say why?" "Because he loved me. Because when I lost my memory, he saw a chance to have what he couldn't have before." She laughed bitterly. "Everyone in my life has been lying to me. My family, my boyfriend, probably half the people I know. The only person telling me the truth is someone I can't even remember. I'm sorry. Don't be. This isn't your fault." She turned to look at him. "Min Seok said the accident wasn't random. He said it was a message to you from a rival. Is that true?" Kang-jun was quiet for a long moment. "I always suspected it. I could never prove it. But you think someone deliberately hurt me to get to you?" "Yes. Then my mother was right. You are dangerous. Being with you put me in danger." "I know." His voice was raw. "That's why I stayed away. That's why I let you go even though it killed me. Because keeping you safe was more important than keeping you." Gabrielle felt tears start again. She was so tired of crying. "But you're here now. You came back. Why?" "Because I'm selfish. Because 3 years of staying away didn't keep you any safer, it just made us both miserable. Because when I saw you at that gala, I realized I'd rather spend 1 day with you in danger than a lifetime without you safe. He moved closer. I know that makes me a terrible person. I know I should walk away again. But I can't. What if they come after me again? What if being with you gets me killed? Then I'll make sure that never happens. I've spent 3 years dismantling my grandfather's organization, cutting ties, eliminating threats. I'm not the same person I was. The people who wanted to hurt you then, most of them are gone or powerless now. Most of them. I won't lie to you, there's still risk. There will always be some risk. But I swear to you, I will spend every day making sure you're protected. I will never let anyone hurt you again. Gabrielle looked out at the water. Everything in her life had been carefully constructed to be safe. Her job, her apartment, her relationship with Minsock. All of it designed to avoid risk, to stay in control. And all of it had been built on lies. I don't know how to do this, she whispered. I don't know how to trust you when I can't even trust my own memories. Then don't trust memories. Trust what you feel right now. When you're with me, do you feel safe? She considered that. With Kang Jun, she felt many things. Confused, overwhelmed, uncertain. But underneath all of that, yes, she felt safe. I do, she admitted. Then start there. Everything else we'll figure out together. Her phone rang. Detective Park's name appeared on screen. Mrs. Ababe, I need you to come to the station. We've had a development in your case. 20 minutes later, they were back at the police station. Detective Park led them to a small conference room, where another detective was waiting. This is Detective Im from our cold case unit, Park said. After our conversation this morning, I pulled him in. Tell them what you found. Detective Im opened a laptop. We ran the traffic camera footage from the night of your accident through new enhancement software. The original investigation couldn't identify the other vehicle, but technology has improved. Look at this. He turned the screen. The footage showed a rainy intersection. Gabrielle's car approaching, then another vehicle, dark and fast, swerving into her lane. We were able to pull a partial plate number, Im said. We ran it through the database. The car was registered to a shell company. That company was owned by a man named Young Tai-Soo. Kang Jun went very still beside her. Tai-Soo is dead. He died 2 years ago. Yes, he did. But before he died, he apparently felt some guilt. His lawyer contacted us this morning, after seeing the case had been reopened. Young left a written confession. He was hired to scare Miss Ababe, not kill her, just run her off the road. Make it look like an accident. He was paid $50,000. Hired by who? Gabrielle asked. Detective Im glanced at Park. That's where it gets complicated. According to the confession, he was hired by an intermediary. He never knew who the actual client was, but the money was transferred through an account we've been able to trace. He pulled up another document. Gabrielle leaned forward to read it. The name on the account made her stomach drop. Han Minseok. No, she said, that can't be right. Minseok wouldn't. The transfer was made 3 days before your accident, Park said quietly. $50,000 from an account in his name to Young Tai-Soo's offshore account. Kang Jun stood up so fast his chair fell over. Where is he? Where is Han Minseok right now? Mr. Seo, I need you to stay calm. Stay calm? He tried to kill her. He's been lying to her for years, and before that, he tried to kill her. We don't know that for certain. The evidence is circumstantial. We need to bring him in for questioning. Gabrielle's hands were shaking. Minseok, the man she had trusted for 2 years, the man she had almost built a life with. He had orchestrated the accident that stole her memories. I need air, she managed. She stumbled out of the conference room. Kang Jun followed, but she waved him off. In the bathroom, she splashed cold water on her face and tried to process what she had just learned. Minseok had paid someone to hurt her. Because what? Because she loved someone else? Because he wanted her for himself? The door opened. Gabrielle looked up expecting another woman. Instead, Minseok walked in and locked the door behind him. That's the women's bathroom, she said stupidly. I know. I needed to talk to you before they arrest me. He looked terrible, disheveled and wild in a way she had never seen him. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. You have to believe me. You paid someone to run me off the road. I paid someone to scare you. To make you think being with Kang Jun was dangerous. Young wasn't supposed to hit you that hard. He wasn't supposed to almost kill you. Minseok moved closer. When I found out you were in the hospital, when I thought you might die, I wanted to die too. I never meant for you to get hurt, but you did mean to terrorize me, to manipulate me into leaving him. I loved you. I still love you. I was desperate. His voice broke. You were so sure about him, so ready to throw your life away for a criminal. I thought if you saw how dangerous his world was, you'd choose differently. So you made it dangerous. You became the threat you were warning me about. And then you lost your memory and I had a second chance. I could do it right this time. I could make you happy, keep you safe, give you the life you deserved, by lying to me every single day, by loving you every single day. Minsiok grabbed her shoulders. I've been good to you, Gabrielle. Better than he ever was. Doesn't that count for anything? Let go of me. Not until you understand. I did this for us. Everything I did was for us. The door handle rattled. Kang Jun's voice came through, sharp with concern. Gabrielle? The door's locked. Minsiok's grip tightened. Tell him you're fine. Tell him you need a minute. I'm not telling him anything. You're going to let me go, and you're going to turn yourself in. I can't do that. If I go to prison, I lose everything. I lose you. You already lost me, the second you decided to play God with my life. The door shook harder. Gabrielle, open the door right now, or I'm breaking it down. Minsiok's expression changed, became harder. Come with me. We can leave Seoul. Start over somewhere else. I have money saved, accounts they don't know about. We can disappear. You're insane. I'm in love, and I'm not losing you again. He pulled her toward the window. They were on the second floor. Not high enough to kill someone, but high enough to hurt badly. You're going to jump out a window with me? That's your plan? It's better than prison. The bathroom door exploded inward. Kang Jun came through first, followed by two uniformed officers. They took in the scene immediately. Step away from her, one officer ordered. Minsiok pulled Gabrielle against him. Stay back. I just need to talk to her. Just give me 5 minutes. It's over, Minsiok, Gabrielle said quietly. Let me go. I can't, don't you understand? Without you, I have nothing. You never had me. Not really. You had a version of me you created. But that's not who I am. Something in her words seemed to break through. Minsiok's grip loosened slightly. It was enough. Gabrielle twisted free and Kang Jun was there immediately, pulling her behind him. The officers moved in. Minsiok did not resist. He just looked at Gabrielle with devastated eyes. I really did love you, he said as they cuffed him. That part was real. I know, Gabrielle said, but love isn't supposed to hurt people. They led him away. Gabrielle sagged against the wall, adrenaline leaving her system all at once. Kang Jun cupped her face gently. Are you okay? Did he hurt you? No, I'm okay. I just need a minute. Detective Park appeared in the doorway. Ms. Abeb, I know this is difficult, but we need your statement about what just happened. The next 3 hours were a blur of questions and paperwork, and recounting details Gabrielle wanted to forget. By the time they were done, it was dark outside. Kang Jun had waited the entire time. When she finally emerged from the interview room, exhausted and wrung out, he stood immediately. Can I take you home? I don't want to go home. I don't want to be anywhere that reminds me of him. Then come with me. The house in the hills. It's yours as much as mine. You can have space, quiet, whatever you need. Gabrielle nodded. She did not have the energy to argue or make decisions. She just wanted to stop thinking. The drive was silent. When they arrived, Kang Jun led her to a bedroom she had not seen earlier. It was simple and clean with a view of the city lights below. There are clothes in the closet, he said. Your old things. I'll be downstairs if you need anything. He started to leave. Gabrielle caught his hand. Stay, please. I don't want to be alone. Are you sure? I'm not asking you to do anything. I just need someone here. Someone I trust. Kang Jun nodded. He sat in the chair by the window while Gabrielle changed into old pajamas that fit perfectly because they had been hers in another life. She crawled into bed and he turned off the light. Can you talk to me? She asked into the darkness. Tell me something good. Something from before. What do you want to know? Anything, everything. Just distract me from today. He was quiet for a moment. Then he started talking. He told her about their first real date, how she had insisted on paying for her half, and he had agreed because arguing with her was pointless. How she had gotten tipsy on 1 glass of wine and confessed she thought he was too handsome to be trustworthy. How he had walked her home and she had kissed him goodnight and then panicked and run inside. He told her about the time she tried to cook him Ethiopian food and set off the fire alarm in her apartment. About the weekend they had driven to Busan on a whim and spent 2 days eating seafood and walking on the beach. About the night he had told her he loved her, and she had cried because she loved him too, and it terrified her. His voice was soft in the darkness. Safe. Real. Gabrielle felt herself drifting. Just before sleep took her, she whispered, I think I'm starting to remember. Yeah, not everything. just feelings, the shape of things. She turned to look at him in the shadows. Thank you for waiting for me. Always. For as long as it takes. She fell asleep to the sound of his breathing. And for the first time in 5 years, she dreamed of the past without fear. In the dream, she was standing in the bookstore. Younger, happier, completely certain of who she was. Kang Jun was there, laughing at something she had said. He pulled her close and kissed her forehead. What are you thinking about? Dream Gabrielle asked. How lucky I am. How I don't deserve you, but I'm going to spend every day trying to. You're being dramatic again. I'm being honest. You make me want to be better. Do you know how rare that is? Dream Gabrielle smiled. So keep being better. Be the man I think you are. What if I can't? Then I'll love you anyway. That's what this is. The dream shifted. They were on the bridge. Snow was falling. Kang Jun was holding a small box. I know it's too soon. I know we should wait. But I also know I want to spend my life with you. So will you consider it? Will you think about marrying me? Dream Gabrielle took the box. Inside was a silver ring, simple and perfect. I don't need to think about it. Yes, 100 times yes. He slipped the ring on her finger. They kissed as snow fell around them, and everything was perfect. Then the dream changed again. She was in the car. Rain. Her phone ringing. She answered. Gabrielle, where are you? Kang Jun's voice was worried. The weather is getting worse. I'm almost there. I need to see you. I need to tell you in person. Tell me what? That I choose you. That I don't care what my family says or how hard this is. I choose you. I choose us. Baby, pull over. Wait until the rain stops. No, I'm fine. I can see the turnoff. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Headlights in the mirror. Too bright. Too close. Gabrielle? Someone's behind me. They're driving really close. Get off the road now. The car swerved into her lane. She yanked the wheel. The world spun. Impact, glass, pain, darkness. And in the darkness, Kang Jun's voice screaming her name. Gabrielle woke up gasping. The room was still dark, but dawn was starting to break outside. Kang Jun was beside the bed immediately, hands gentle on her shoulders. You're okay. You're safe. It was a dream. It was a memory. She was shaking. I remember the accident. I remember talking to you. I was coming to tell you I chose you. His face crumpled. I know. I heard the crash on the phone. I heard everything and I couldn't do anything to stop it. You stayed on the line until the ambulance came. I talked to you even though you couldn't hear me anymore. I told you to hold on. I told you I loved you. I told you help was coming. Gabrielle pulled him closer. He resisted for a second, then collapsed against her, and she realized he was crying. I thought I lost you, he said against her shoulder. When they wouldn't let me see you at the hospital. When your mother said you didn't remember me. I thought that was it. The universe telling me I had destroyed the best thing in my life. You didn't destroy anything. Minseok did. And I'm here now. I'm remembering. They stayed like that as the sun came up. Two people trying to stitch together a past that had been torn apart. Later, after coffee and showers and the world felt slightly more normal, Gabrielle called her mother. I need you to tell me everything, she said when her mother answered. No more protecting me. No more deciding what I can handle. Everything. Her mother was quiet. Then, you remember him. I'm starting to. And I know about the accident. About Minseok. All of it. Minseok? What does he have to do with anything? Gabrielle explained. By the end, her mother was crying. I'm so sorry. I was trying to keep you safe, and I pushed you right into danger. If I had just trusted you, if I had let you make your own choices. It's done, Mom. We can't change it. But I need to know. When I was in the hospital, what did I say? Did I ask for him? Every day. Even when you didn't remember who he was. You kept asking for someone named Kang Jun. You said you needed to tell him something important. The doctors said it was the trauma. Your brain trying to hold on to something from before the injury. And you never told him that. I was afraid. He was part of that world. That dangerous world. I thought if I could keep you separate from it, you'd be safe. I was wrong. I'm so sorry I was wrong. They talked for another hour. Her mother told her about the woman she had been before the accident. Passionate, stubborn, absolutely certain about what she wanted. She had fought with her family about Kang Jun, yes, but she had also been deliriously happy. You glowed when you talked about him, her mother said. I had never seen you like that. It scared me because I knew you'd follow him anywhere, even somewhere dangerous. So when the accident happened and you forgot, I thought it was a blessing in disguise. But it wasn't my choice. You took that from me. I know, and I will spend the rest of my life regretting it. But Gabrielle, if you remember him, if you love him, don't let my fear keep you apart again. Life is too short. Love is too rare. After they hung up, Gabrielle found Kang Jun in the study. He was looking at the books she had marked up all those years ago. "My mother gave us her blessing," she said from the doorway. "Not that we need it, but she said she was wrong to interfere. How do you feel about that?" Relieved, angry, grateful. All of it at once. She walked over to him. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "The ring. The one you were going to propose with. Do you still have it?" Kang Jun's expression was unreadable. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box, the same one from her dreams. "I've carried it every day for 3 years. I kept thinking I should return it, sell it, throw it in the river, but I couldn't let it go." He opened the box. The silver ring caught the morning light. "It's beautiful," Gabrielle whispered. "Can I try it on?" "Gabrielle, you don't have to. I want to. Please." He took the ring out with shaking hands, slipped it onto her finger. It fit perfectly, like it had been made for her, because it had been. "How does it feel?" Kang Jun asked quietly. "Like coming home." She looked up at him. "I know I don't remember everything yet. I know we have a lot to figure out, but I remember enough. I remember loving you. And I think I'm falling in love with you again, with who you are now, who we could be together. You don't have to decide anything today. We can take our time. We can." She kissed him. For real this time, not the brief touch from before. He froze for a second, then pulled her closer, and everything else disappeared. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Kang Jun rested his forehead against hers. "I've missed you so much," he whispered. "Every single day for 3 years, I know. I'm sorry I forgot. Don't apologize. None of this was your fault. I'm still sorry. I'm sorry you had to wait. I'm sorry you had to hurt. It was worth it. This moment right here, it was worth every second." They spent the rest of the day in the house, talking, and remembering, and building something new on the foundation of something old. Gabrielle's memories were coming back in pieces. Not everything, maybe not ever everything, but enough. She remembered their first kiss, the way he had asked permission first, so serious and formal it made her laugh. She remembered lazy Sunday mornings in his apartment, cooking breakfast and reading the newspaper and feeling completely content. She remembered fights they had about small things that felt huge at the time. The way he always apologized first even when he was right. The way she always forgave him, because holding grudges felt like wasting time they could be happy. By evening, she was exhausted, happy, but overwhelmed. "I should probably get my own things from my apartment," she said. "Figure out what happens next. Or you could stay here. Your things are already here. Your books, your clothes, even your terrible coffee mugs." "They are not terrible. They're funny. They're terrible and funny. It's part of your charm." Kang Jun pulled her close. "Stay. Not forever if you're not ready for that. But for now, let me take care of you while you figure things out. What about work? My apartment? All the normal life things? We'll handle them, together. But right now, just be here with me." So she stayed. The next few weeks were strange and wonderful and complicated. Min Seok was charged with conspiracy to commit assault. The case made headlines. Gabrielle had to give testimony, face reporters, deal with colleagues who suddenly had a lot of questions. But through all of it, Kang Jun was there. He hired her a lawyer, ran interference with the press, and held her hand through every difficult moment. Detective Park kept them updated. Min Seok's lawyer tried to make a deal, but the prosecutor was pushing for jail time. "He'll probably get 3 to 5 years, Park told them. "Maybe less with good behavior. And then he's out," Gabrielle said. "Back in the world. We can get a restraining order. Make sure he can't come near you." It helped, but not much. The man she had trusted for 2 years had turned out to be obsessed enough to hurt her. That kind of thing did not just go away. At work, Gabrielle requested a transfer to a different hotel in the chain. Too many people at the Imperial Grand knew about Min Seok, knew about the scandal. She needed a fresh start. Her new position was at a smaller property in Gangnam, less prestigious but quieter. She could breathe there. And slowly, carefully, she and Kang Jun figured out how to be together again. Not as the people they were before. Those versions were gone, worn away by time and trauma and 3 years of separation. But as new people, people who had survived loss and were choosing each other anyway. Kang Jun finished dismantling his grandfather's organization. It took months and cost him relationships with people who had known him his whole life. But he did it. He built a completely legitimate business empire, clean and legal, and something he could be proud of. Gabrielle helped him design a foundation that used his profits to support immigrant entrepreneurs in Korea. It was her idea, and watching it come to life made her feel like she was doing something meaningful. They had their first real fight 3 months in. Something stupid about whose turn it was to do dishes. It escalated because they were both tired and stressed, and still figuring out how to communicate. Gabrielle ended up crying in the bedroom. Kang Jun followed her, apologizing even though she had started it. "I don't know how to do this," she admitted through tears. "I feel like I'm supposed to remember how we worked before, but I don't. I'm just making it up as I go. So am I. You think I know what I'm doing? I'm terrified every day that you're going to wake up and realize you made a mistake." "Really? Really? You're this incredible, brilliant woman who could have anyone. And you're choosing me, a guy who comes with more baggage than an airport." Of course I'm terrified. They ended up laughing through their tears. And after that, fights became easier. Less scary. Just part of learning each other again. 6 months after the gala, Gabrielle woke up and remembered everything. Not slowly or in pieces. All at once, like a door opening in her mind. She sat up in bed gasping. Kang Jun woke immediately. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Everything. I remember." She turned to him with wide eyes. "I remember all of it. Meeting you at the bookstore. Our first date at that terrible Italian place where those waiters spilled wine on you. The weekend in Busan. The night you told me about your grandfather's business. Every fight, every kiss, every moment. I remember." Kang Jun stared at her. "Everything?" "Everything. Oh my God, I remember telling you I loved you for the first time. We were in the car and it just came out and you almost drove into a pole." He started laughing. Really laughing in a way she had not heard from him in months. "You do remember. You actually remember." They stayed in bed the rest of the morning while Gabrielle told him every memory that had come flooding back. Some he had told her about already. Others were new, small moments he had forgotten or never thought to mention. "I can't believe it all came back," she said eventually. "The doctors said it might never happen. What changed? I don't know. Maybe my brain just needed time. Or maybe I needed to fall in love with you again first. Make new memories before I could access the old ones. Now that you remember the before version of us." Gabrielle considered that. The woman in her memories was bolder than current Gabrielle, more willing to take risks. But she had also been younger, less tested by life. "I think it leaves us exactly where we are. I remember who we were, but I like who we're becoming better." Yeah. Before, we were intense and passionate and kind of reckless. Now we're more careful with each other. More intentional. I think we needed that." Kang Jun kissed her temple. "I love you, both versions of you, all versions of you. I love you too, always have. Even when I couldn't remember, some part of me knew." A year after the gala, they got married. It was a small ceremony. Just close friends and family. Gabrielle's mother cried through the whole thing. Kang Jun's business partner served as best man and then spent his speech telling embarrassing stories. Gabrielle wore a simple white dress and the silver ring that had waited 3 years to fulfill its purpose. Kang Jun wore a suit and looked at her like she had hung the moon. When they exchanged vows, Gabrielle said, "I promise to choose you. Every day, in every moment, even on the days when it's hard, especially on those days. Because some things are worth fighting for." Kang Jun said, "I promise to be worthy of that choice, to protect you without smothering you, to love you without trying to own you, to wait for you, always, for as long as it takes." There was not a dry eye in the room. The reception was at the house they had designed together all those years ago, the one that had sat empty waiting for its purpose. Now it was filled with light and laughter, and people celebrating a love that had survived, everything thrown at it. Late in the evening, Gabrielle found Kang Jun on the terrace overlooking Seoul. "Hiding from your own wedding?" she teased. "Just taking a minute. Today has been perfect. I wanted to remember it." She slipped her arms around him from behind. "Thank you. For what? For not giving up. For waiting. For loving me even when I couldn't remember why I loved you back." He turned to face her. "You want to know a secret? Always. Even if you had never remembered, even if you had chosen to stay with Min Seok or found someone completely different, I would have spent the rest of my life loving you. Because that's what you do when you find the person who makes you believe in better things. You love them. No conditions, no timeline, just love." Gabrielle felt tears start, happy ones this time. "You're going to make me ruin my makeup. You're beautiful with or without it. Smooth talker. Only with you." They danced on the terrace as the city sparkled below them, and Gabrielle thought about all the things that had led to this moment. The accident, the lost memories, the years apart, the lies and revelations and painful truths. All of it had been necessary somehow to get them here, to this moment of perfect clarity. 2 years after the wedding, Gabrielle was going through old boxes in the study when she found something tucked into one of her poetry books. A letter in her own handwriting. The date on it was from before the accident. She sat down to read it. To whoever I become, if you're reading this, something has happened. I'm writing it now while I still remember who I am and what I want. Just in case. I love him. Seo Kang-jun. I love him in a way that scares me and thrills me and makes me believe in things I thought were just stories. He makes me want to be braver, kinder, better. I know his world is complicated. I know my family doesn't approve. I know there are risks. But I also know that some things are worth the risk. Some people are worth fighting for. So if something happens, if I forget, please know that I chose this. I chose him. And I would choose him again and again and again. Don't let fear make decisions for you. Don't let other people tell you what your heart wants. Trust yourself. Trust your love. And if you ever get the chance to love him again, even if you don't remember the first time, do it. He's worth it. You're worth it. This love is worth it. Be brave. Gabrielle. She read it 3 times before she could see through her tears. Then she took the letter downstairs, where Kang-jun was making dinner. Look what I found. He read it while she watched. By the end, his eyes were wet too. You knew, he said quietly. Even then you knew. I knew. And I was right. You were worth every risk. We were worth it, he corrected. Both of us together. That night, they added the letter to a box of important things. Wedding photos. The deed to the house. The silver ring in its original box, kept as a memento. All the pieces of a love story that had been torn apart and stitched back together into something even stronger. And if you stayed with me through this whole journey, thank you. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share this story with someone who believes in second chances. Because sometimes the best love stories are the ones that refuse to stay lost.